What up, though? It's DJ Smithsonian, and you're now tuning into another episode of The Library. This is the space where we talk about hip-hop's relationship with language, how hip-hop manipulates language, and how hip-hop even creates its own language. And today, we got another episode of one of my new favorite segments on this show, Outdated Punchlines. So if you've ever had one of those moments where you said kids these days won't understand, this is the episode for you.
Man, my topic of talking those to keep it hooked like dope. Putting shit so hard in these censorship. Damn, God, you're killing me.
Because we're going to be talking about some of the iconic bars from some of my favorite MCs that don't quite make sense right now. And we got a good list for you today. I'm going to talk about 3 different MCs, 3 different songs. And we're going to talk about these bars and how they're just outdated. So getting into it, first one, we've got one of my favorite MCs, Ludacris, and his debut single, What's Your Fantasy, featuring Shawna. On 2000, Back from the First Time, he opens up the track saying, I want to get you in the Georgia Dome on the 50-yard line while the Dirty Birds kick for tree. Now, if you're familiar with the football references, you know that the Dirty Birds are the Atlanta Falcons. And Georgia Dome refers to the once home arena of the Falcons that, of course, was unfortunately demolished and closed in 2017. So, depending on how young the kids are these days, they might not know what the Georgia Dome is. Currently, the Falcons play in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So, if Ludacris did a remix to that song, he might want to mention the Benz. Secondly, another one of my favorite MCs, another one that's on God tier MC status, and none other than Marshall Mathers, Eminem, and I'm bringing to you a line from the song Forgot About Dre that wasn't on his album. Instead, it was on Dr. Dre's 2001, which dropped in 1999. And Eminem's got a bar that says, one day I was walking by with a Walkman on when I caught a guy giving me an awkward eye. So I strangled him off in the parking lot with his Carl Kanais. Now that's a twofer right there. So the first reference that, might be a little updated is the Sony Walkman. If you're of my age, maybe a little older, maybe just a tad bit younger, you remember the Walkman cassette players where you would play your favorite tape, had the headphones in. Back when cassettes were king, we still had CDs, but the tapes were really where it was at because you could dub songs over from the radio and things of that nature. So Walkman cassette players obviously aren't that popular these days. We've got streaming services. We've got other ways to get media through our phones. So nowadays you don't really see cassette players that much. However, the Walkman brand still stands. Most recently, Sony rebranded it as a digital media player, so a standalone media player, which has a little bit of popularity. And the OG Walkmans are still available in a niche market because cassettes is one of those types of physical media that's starting to make a little bit of a comeback, similar to vinyl records. So if you keep your eyes open, you might be able to find the OG Walkman still. And the second reference I want to talk about is Carl Kanai. So you do know what Carl Kanai is? Depending on your age, you might not. Carl Kanai was a fashion designer, or is a fashion designer, and was given the nickname the Godfather of Urban Streetwear. So before we had Rockaware, before what did he got? Sean John, before even the new school fashion designs right now, and the designers in urban streetwear, all of the clothes that the rappers were rocking. Carl Kanai was one of the OGs in the game and had his own urban streetwear line, and it was all over the place in the 90s. I had some Carl Kanais myself, thinking back to the jean outfits, the denim jackets with the denim pants, matching the Carl Kanai boots and what have you. Carl Kanai was that deal. You weren't who you thought you were if you weren't rocking Carl Kanai back in the 90s. But now he's still around, and Karl Kani is still a luxury hip hop brand, but it's not as ubiquitous in the current hip hop culture that it used to be. And I think that's just because of the range of options that MCs and singers have now, and then also the fact that hip hop fashion is at the main stage. So I think Pharrell did the Met Gala not too long ago. I'm not much of a fashion guy. I'm a plain Jane, t-shirts and gym shorts kind of dude. So, mad props to Karl Kani now. Like I dress a little bit more humbly, but still give him his props. And the third one, we're going to talk about another dope MC. We're going to talk about Phife Dawg from A Tribe Called Quest, R.I.P. And another opening line. So on Scenario, Phife Dawg starts his verse. Hey, yo, Bo knows this, and Bo knows that, but Bo don't know jack, because Bo can't rap. Do you know who Bo is? Now, you say, depending on your age, you might not know, because he dropped that bar on Scenario, which is on the Low End Theory album, which dropped in 1991. So you might have to have a little bit of a higher number in front of your name in order for you to even remember when that song hit the airwaves. And if you don't know who Bo is, Bo definitely knows you. And I'm talking about none other than MLB and NFL All-Star Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was a pro athlete. He played pro football and pro baseball, and he played them concurrently, and is still the only player to reach all-star status in both sports. He was an all-star with both the LA Raiders and the Kansas City Royals. And Bo Knows was an ad campaign that ran from 1989 to 1990 as a way to advertise Bo's signature Nike shoe. So if you don't remember that, you might not know. But also you might, because Bo is still kind of around. So in Madden 22, Bo Jackson became a legendary player character. So as a part of advertising the video game, they brought Bo Knows back. So, some of the new school might know that. Also, if you're a Boldy James fan, Boldy James, dope MC out of Detroit, Boldy James, also goes by Bo, and you see Bo in a lot of his songs and a lot of his album titles. So in 2021, he did drop a collaboration album with The Alchemist that is called Bo Jackson. So I highly encourage you to listen to that if you want to check out some dope bars. But those are your 3 outdated punchlines for today. Once again, I'm DJ Smithsonian. Thank you for tuning in to the library. Peace.
Man, my topic of talking those that keep it hooked like dope. Ship so hard in these censorship. Damn, God.